Okay, Baruch Hashem, we're learning Likutei Moharan on Hamoed Pesach, Avodas Hashem. It's been mamshich in the Torahs of Rabbeinu, Menachem ben Feigen, Menachem ben Simcha, Baruch Hashem, and it is already the second day of Sefiras Haomer. We'll be counting soon in a moment. We're moving into Sefiras Chesed, the truth of kindness. So there's no better place to be than holding in the middle of a Likutei Moharan. And Hashgacha Pratis is that we're holding not just in Torah Lamed Zayin Sivav, but we're just about to say the famous Chazal. We'll get there in a moment. It's the next paragraph, but we'll just skip just in case we don't, because of Morav. It says, Zeh Sha'amru, the whole idea of Chachmeinu Zichron LaBrocha. We'll be mentioning Zechreinu as the Indian of Zichron. This whole Torah has been talking about Zichron. And the concept that when we go through Yam Suf, we go through Krias Yam Suf, this Parsha, this week, Shabbos, Shirat Pesach, we realize that our Parnasah comes through this whole Torah, this whole concept. It says, Chachmeinu Zichron LaBrocha, Kashim Ezonasav, Shalom Ki Krias Yam Suf. Yam Suf Nikra Shnaim Asa Kroim, Keneged Shnaim Asa B'dikas Asakin, Shaideim Kashim Ezonav Shashal Odom. It makes a kesher between Krias Yam Suf, Hashgacha Pratis, that we'll be holding after more than a year of learning the Likutei Moharan from Aleph all the way now to Lamed Zayin and Chelek Aleph, and we're already at a point where we're mentioning Shirat Pesach, Krias Yam Suf, the Parnasah, and connecting it into the Torah with the Sheichta. The Sheichta we mentioned is being ma'alenes nefashos, being elevating souls. You do Sheichta correctly, you elevate the souls that were in the food, and through elevating the souls within the food, you mamshich Parnasah and shefa to the world. And we'll just go over a little bit. This way it says, we're just now holding the paragraph before. It's the whole Indian connection between this concept of sword and speaking. When you shochet, einu hagun, einu mala, it's a nefesh. So we have a shochet, somebody who's doing Sheichta, which is, we mentioned, is connected to the concept of speech and sword. Yeah, einu mala, it's a nefesh. Is mayim nukvin. This is elevating the feminine waters, the lower waters. It's called. Once again, it doesn't mean lower in a spiritual sense. It just means elevating the aspect of feminine waters, which is lamata. And when a person is shochet the chai, the animal, yeah, who omed kubetzach nafashos. If he does it not correctly, and he's not shechting in the right way, then what happens? Then he's like a murderer of souls, because all those souls that have potential to be elevated, the Korban Pesach, all the different animals, the shepsada we bring every day when we have a basic English B'Kor Mamish, it has to be done correctly to be elevated on the Mizbeach. So too when a person eats meat in his home during Yom Tov, the shochet has to do it in the correct way to give the tikkun to the meat before the yid even comes to eat it. And just by the Sheichta itself is already a step towards the development of elevating the souls that are within animals, within the element of chai. Because remember, there's different elements of creation. There's domem, someach, chai, medaber, Yisrael, Kazari, and other Sfarim talk about it. The concept of chai getting its elevation, it has within it souls from the higher realm that will megalgo into the cows or the different animals that we eat. So it has to be elevated through these tikkunim have to be done through the correct shechita. Chalif shalohu cherev medaber, cherev lashem, shehu cherev hamedaber. And what happens when the sart of the nefesh of this animal, it screams out with a bitter voice, yeah, like we did on Leil Seder, it's screaming out to Hashem to save us. Nafshi yatsa, because yatsa b'shvil lachnis b'daber shal brocha b'chinas mayin nukvim. In order to bring everything to its proper tikkun, there's a concept of brocha. So brocha is also a tikkun of the peh, or the medaber, how we speak. It's very much connected to the whole union of blessing. So that's one of the things we have to work on, all of us, is work on our dibur, how we speak. We make brochas, it elevates the different elements. The Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech Haolam has a formula which elevate this world. So that means all the different things that Hashem created with His dibur, with His speech. That's a more general bracha, and you get more and more specific all the way through to Hamoed lechem min haaretz, or achilas matzah like we just made this week, or achilas mara like we just made. K'shiyatza b'kashtiv lo mitzasi krasi lo anani. So it's another thing which we have to prepare ourselves, and Shlomo mentioned this during Pesach. We have to prepare ourselves for the halachas of Pesach. We have to live in such a way that we don't have a concept called pigul, which is usually brought in Hilchos Kodshim. We have to live in such a way where we're not, God forbid, thinking the wrong things that take us away from the focus of the avodah we're doing. So when it comes to Sheichta, there has to be the correct thoughts, correct intentions. Yiddishkeit is very mindful and intentional. So when we eat food and we shecht food and shecht animals, anything we do has to be done with the correct thoughts. Hakuni pesuni nases v'didi malai. Haini shemale shana nefesh b'chinas chai. Kamza lechach memenu ki achshav ein la manuach lekaf ragla. Oli ha-shoche hazeh. Woe is to this kind of shoche. It doesn't shecht the chai, this aspect of chai, in the correct way. Or lenefesh shahare gets a nefesh matza oisa b'kaf oivaya. Ein la shchina mayim nukvim. So he's not able to bring the shchina to the mayim nukvim. Lahamshich teref levesa. This is based on Eishes Chal, teref levesa. To bring the teref to the house. Aydezeh nafshenu navi lachmeinu v'yigiat tircha gedola. So he's in a state where he ends up having to do what? Tircha gedola. Why does this happen? Why does the person have to work so hard in this world? Tircha gedola. So much tirchas. Tirchas means so much bother, so much. Because one of the main reasons is because a person, when he doesn't elevate what he needs to elevate, he doesn't do Sheichta correctly, then the tikkun is not taking place properly, and he's murdering these souls that should have had an elevation. So then part of the continuation is that his Parnasah starts to also become difficult. So, and that's because the Shechina by Mayim Nukvin, these lower waters, are not getting elevated. So the spiritual energy ascending from below is a source of souls, Malchus. So soul is actually an elevated source through the blessing. So we're going to learn also, we have in our davening, we just had Svaratem Lechem, it's to speak out, Sefiras Haomer, and it says Tanufeh. Yeah, it says you can continue the process. It's Omer Tanufeh, Tanupeh. Rabbi Nachman and Tzaddikim talk a lot, very much about how you use your mouth. Pesach, but also Tanufeh is the Sefiras Haomer. So when we're every night making a bracha till Shavuos, it's Indian is also give your mouth to Hashem, Tanupeh, give over your mouth, not just shaking the Omer, but the way you speak and the way you make a bracha and the way you serve Hashem with your mouth. It has a character to be marlin, to elevate, and that's the same too with this Sheichta. So this affects the livelihood of Jewish people, how we speak, how we shecht. Everything is connected. He brought a whole beautiful long story here about this from the B'ditcheva, and we mentioned it in the name of Rabbi Nachman, but it's actually a mice in the B'ditcheva, that how we speak affects what we're doing, and how we elevate animals, because there's a tikkun going on. We get our bread at the peril of our souls. This is the pasuk, yeah. The pasuk. Where's the pasuk from? And Afshen Navilachmeinu. It's a pasuk from. There was a great strain and struggle. There was no wretch for very incarnated soul because of the sword of the wilderness, because the slaughter used the sword of the wilderness and not God's sword. Therefore, the soul cannot ascend the aspect of Mayim Nukvim to induce a flow of Shefa into the world. So this Mayim Nukvim creates a Shefa. It's an arousal from below that arouses a Shefa from above. Like right now, we're saying Tau. Yeah, we're saying Mashiva Ruach Merida Tau. Tau is something which is more created from below. So it's a Rusa Dilatata. So the whole summer months are more an Indian of Rusa Dilatata. We're busy doing Olam HaMaisa, this world. Yeah, the summer months, everything's growing and producing fruits. Whereas the winter months is more Indian Mashiva Ruach Merida Geshem. We're bringing down Rusa Dilatata from above. but the arousal from below is what creates the tal from above, and they meet together, and that creates the talioris that brings the shefa during the summer months. So this concept, so too, even more so in the Geshem, it's more revealed because it's coming mamish from above, with the rain coming from above. But the concept is there's an arousal from below, and this arousal from below is created by us elevating the souls correctly. When we do Sheichta correctly and we speak before and make a blessing and do Avodas Hashem correctly, this brings room for the shefa, and that's why then it brings what we managed to get to in time before Marav. Krias Yam Suf. So a person's mazonav is difficult as splitting the Yam Suf, because when the Yam Suf, how many lanes did it split into? 12, connected the 12 tribes. Connected what? The Shtayim Asvei B'dika Sakim, when we check the knife, the 12 different ways of checking the knife. When a shochet, before he shechtes, he has to check the knife in 12 different ways. So then it becomes difficult as Parnasah because he didn't do it correctly. So this shows you how intertwined our ruchnias avodas. What we mentioned last time when we were learning, how much it affects our gashmis avodah, Parnasah, and our ability to have shefa. That we need to do our avodah correctly, how we speak, how we think, and that will bring the shefa from above to support. And that's really a big opportunity, Sefiras Pesach, to really put in the energy and daven. It's the Chag of Emunah. It says that the whole Chag of Pesach is the Chag of Emunah, but the Chag of Rosh Hashanah Pesach is the Mesiras Nefesh. It's the Chag of Mesiras Nefesh. It shows our dedication to Hashem through the Krias Yam Suf, through the splitting of the sea, and through how we serve Hashem with Mesiras Nefesh. We don't get distracted by other things, and we're focused and we're dedicated. And that dedication, that brings the shefa from above. That opens up the Yam Suf, that opens up the lanes of Parnasah in our life. And each person has his own path, his own derech yam. And notice in derech yam, as Rabbi Nachman talked, we learned already in the Torah before, this idea, this path through the Yam Suf. And then we go through this special journey of each soul has its journey and its tikkun to make, and each soul needs its tikkun through the achila of a yid who's alive, fixes up souls, and it elevates everything around. And we're here to fix this world and elevate this world, as we mentioned last time. So then it's all connected to the kind of shefa Hashem will give to Am Yisrael. And that's why Rabbi Nachman was so emotional when he said, Oi, you saw that before? In the Loshen, he says, my soul went out, I saw them going off, I cold, but I didn't answer. I met the watchman who told, they stripped me, I met all these Loshen, woe to the ritual slaughter. So Oi lo l'shochet hazeh. He said before, woe to that person that doesn't shech correctly because he's blocking the shefa. He's not elevating the Shechina with the Mayim Nukvin. And he's not drawing the food for his household, God forbid. So we have to get this correct. And every table is like a mizbech, says Rabbi Nachman weiter. That the blemish that disqualifies a salter knife is the same size blemish that disqualifies the altar. It's a Gemara in Chol. So we have to realize that there's a connection between the Sheichta and the mizbech. So there's a direct connection in the shear of what puzzles it, makes it a pegima, and no longer kosher shrit or kosher mizbech. And our home, every home has a table, a shulchan. There's a shulchan lifnei Hashem, and every table has ability to elevate. Every shtib has a mizbech, ma'at, like a klein mizbech, a small image of what it will be when the Beis Hamikdash comes. The Mikdash Ma'at, every home is a Mikdash Ma'at, every bimah in the shul is like a Mikdash Ma'at, with the shulchan in the shul. Everyone has this avodah of elevating, where each person within him has a shulchan. Our own digestive system is bechinas shulchan, says the Malbim. So every person has this concept of being able to elevate the food they eat, and their home has the ability to elevate the food they bring into the home, and every shul has the ability to elevate the neshamas that come there. And it's all connected with the food and the neshamas. It's all the reason we eat. It's not just whatever. It's a holy avodah. So Sefiras Pesach has a koach in it, not only to help us to find a zvugim, has a koach of finding a soulmate, which is also difficult, like Krias Yam Suf, but it also has which is very connected to the union of Parnasah and our home and our shulchan in our home and how we eat, how we serve Hashem. It's all connected. There's a certain bechina connecting everything. We've already been learning here about the neshama and the odom and the behema. Okay, guys, so weiter in Rabbi Nachman gam aus der Sheichta gematchet Taf Lamed Zayin. Yeah, Al Sheichta has a numerical 437. The first letters of Bezercha by the sweat of your brow you shall eat bread. That was the curse that Adam Rishon got with, and the beginning with Parnasah, how difficult it's going to be. Rosh Tevis Gematria Taf Lamed Zayin, with the four letters, the Remez Chesorin Parnasah Oidei Shochtim She'enim Huganim. So he connects it again even further. That it means the Sheichta was not done correctly, and that's why we get this klola of the extra schwitz that we have to go through for livelihood. So even though Avodas Hashem, after Shvisha Beis, everyone talks about how there's a Bizas Yam and there's a new opportunity for Parnasah, but it is tali on us, the Rusa de Latata. Hashem wants us to do the work of serving Him properly with our food and our brochas, and we meet to have a bit more kavanah, to be mindful that this is His neshamas in this food, and we need to elevate it. And the shochet has to have that in mind, so we get from a good heksha, someone who is shochet properly. And this is all real stuff. It really makes a big nafka because people work really hard and sometimes they're not getting much out of it. What we have to daven for is that we work what we need to work, but it should be with shefa and brocha. It should be parnasah tova, and it should be with the kind of shefa that we bring home, that we can be able to mafanas our families, and that goes together again with the zivug and the idea of finding your soulmate. With Krias Yam Suf is connected. So Bez Hashem, we should be zocha now. We're going to daven more in a minute. We should be zocha Bez Hashem to a Freilich Mess of Pesach and a good Sefiras Haomer to use our mouth properly, Tanufeh, Svartem Lechem, and to get ready for, please God, for these many weeks are going to be weeks of Avodas Hashem done properly, and with that we'll have all the Parnasah in the most easiest way, all the abundance we need in the most easy way possible. Amen v'amen. And good Hamoed and a Chag Sameach.